Luncheon. We have a very charged program for you here today, so I think we should get the ball rolling. Then you have lots of questions to ask, and you want to get the story. So I'm going to ask you all please to rise for the pledge of allegiance. Please remain standing. I'm going to ask John Hughes to come up and give the comment.
Let us pray. Thank you, Father, for helping us gather all here today to enjoy this meal and enjoy each other's company. We want to say a special prayer for our museum and our foundation and the challenges that we've overcome, the accomplishments we've made, and the blessings that we'll have in moving in and opening our new museum. Thank you, Father, also for those that are first responders in our area that are helping those that need help. Please bless those that can't be here and to enjoy this meal with us today. Father, we want to say a special blessing also to those military, active duty, far away and at home, and for their service and sacrifice, and for those veterans that have sacrificed over the years, for which we store artifacts to tell the historical tales of all those that passed before us, all naval aviation aviators and those that supported them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please be seated. Check two. Can everybody hear me nice and clearly? Great. By all means, if you can't need me to repeat something, please make a shot. I don't have a very long script. I didn't write a script. I decided to kind of play it by ear because there's so many things to say. I would have written a book. And I want to be open to your questions. And you understand I've been living this for many months now, a year. And so I pretty much know these things inside and out. So we'll just go in and start from the beginning. I would like to say thank you, first of all, to all the partners and sponsors and supporters who have kept the museum afloat through many, many years, long before I got here. All the big names in the community that have contributed and donated over the years and have pledged to continue to donate in 2025 and on. So it is because of them that we have going to have activities, and so we'd like to say thank you to all of them. We also like to thank the people who are down in the trenches with us, working so hard to build a museum, Lindsay Tech, they know them, and Island Associates, for those who don't know them, they're the folks that call me at the middle of the night and we talk on Saturdays and Sundays, and basically the folks that are building the museum. So we're working hand in hand with them all the time, and really appreciate their professionalism and their quick response, and yeah, they are much appreciated. And of course, Underwood Associates are architects, and they're making everything happen for us. And of course, I'd like to thank Conception Printing, who have worked on our logos for so long, and you'll be seeing lots more designs from them in 2025 at the new museum and on our t-shirts and programs.
And at our merch table.
And at our merch table. I guess this is a good time for me to mention the merch table now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you really want to support the museum, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can go buy yourself a hat or a book. Go see our friends Yandra and Erica back there, and give them your money, and they'll give you an exchange with a present. I'd like to thank Kelly and the team for arranging that and getting it happening here for you today. The other way you can help out the museum is, of course, with memberships. So consider becoming a member. If you're not already a member, that little $35 a year makes a huge difference to us, and it helps keep our lights on and moving towards the museum. And of course, I need to thank all of you. I'd like to thank our friends at Navy League, ANA, BFA, all those other associations who have cheered us on and come to our luncheons, and we've gone to their luncheons. So Thank you, Barry and everybody. We appreciate that. And we'd like to thank all of our contributors. So really, this is your celebration as much as it is ours. We'd like to thank you for the immense donations, and we'll be going through them shortly. But as I mentioned, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here today. And the museum is proud to have been supported by the community for 25 years. So thank you. Round of applause. So I actually can't read them from here. So we have quite a few things to go through today, and I'll step forward so I can talk a little bit about them. Most of you are here, I'm sure, because you want to find out about the new museum. So that's definitely on the agenda. Item number 1, we'll talk about where we're going, what's happening, how we're building it. And if anybody doesn't know where the new museum is, I will give you directions. Let's talk about, of course, our new library and archives, and our friend Steffi, our archivist and librarian, will come up and talk about the great things that we've been doing to get the library together. We're going to look at the numbers, and we're going to explain to you why we need money. And the next part of that is I'm going to ask you for money. We're going to talk about where our financial situation is and how we're so close, but we just need a little bit more help if we can just get the doors open this year. And everybody wants to know about the move. So the move has already started, and we will talk about the move and move plans, and you can ask me questions about that afterwards. Not that I'll have the answers, because we're still sort of planning as we go, but the idea is that we, with your help and collaboration and volunteers and ideas that everybody's chipping in, we can get this done. And then we're going to get, we'll get a review of some of the ongoing projects at the museum, some of the things that we did in 2025 that I got a chance to participate in, and then we'll have an exclusive screening for you. Something that we've been working on for months now, and we're very excited to present this little screening to you. It's very short, but hopefully it'll play nicely. And then lastly, I'll turn the microphone over to Kelly, who will recognize our volunteers who have made such a huge impact and have kept us afloat in 2024, and will continue to do so hopefully in 2025. Thank you. So most of you were wanting to know what's happening with our museum, where we are, what's going on. And we have come such a long way from when we started construction back in 2023. And some of you remember the flag ceremony that we had was on a newly poured cement foundation, cement floor, and we raised the flag and raised the column back there in 2023. So many things have happened since then. So there is Will, on my very first day back in 2023, he introduced me to the dirt path that was soon to be our museum, and how proud I was to be a part of that. And then building went quite quickly. As soon as we gave them the thumbs up, go ahead, start building, they, in the cold winter months, I guess it was started probably in September and until October, they began to build the frame, but the foundation was poured, as we know, in September. And by the end of October, November, it was more or less closed in. And then the new year came, 2024, and then we started working more on the inside, finishing some of the outside parts, things like working on drywall and putting up insulation and that sort of thing on the inside. So this is Kelly and I introducing it to John Sullivan, showing him where his money's going. And it was a really nice time for us. And of course, the museum is, there's so many more things on the inside of the museum that have grown, that have made a difference since we started, putting a pen to paper, as we say. We painted the inside of the offices. This is a great story, and I'll tell those of you who don't know it. So this is the Canadian connection to our museum. Our manager of public programs, Kelly Davidson, most of you know who she is. She's very adamant, passionate about a color that she was looking for the admin room, and said, this is the color, this is what's going to be, this is what's going to happen, you're going to like it, don't worry, it's going to work out great. And that's exactly she brought this color to me and told me, it's the color from the BBY. And having been in the PBY myself a couple of times, I didn't recognize it. I'm like, it doesn't look like the same color. Turns out she was referring to the nose part of the PBY. Those of you who know our PBY know that our nose has been replaced. So our PBY suffered an accident some time ago, and we replaced the nose with a spare nose from another aircraft that was canceled, Canadian built. And so the nose color does not match the rest of the interior, but it's the Canadian green. And being a Canadian, I thought it was quite amusing. So we do love the color. It's a great color. Thank you, Kelly, for doing that. And it's all through our offices that I'm in, and it'll probably show up to some variation in the conference room and in the mail room.
And the library.
And the library actually has it too.
That's a good story. Yeah.
Well, I could manage up here, but that's okay. This is where we are today. Our museum doesn't have a floor yet. It just has polished concrete through most of it. And we're getting there. We hope to be installing the flooring probably by the beginning of March. And the flooring will be a vinyl laminate that looks like oak. So it'll be a nice oak-type surface. It's apparently the surface that we see in gymnasiums and schools and that sort of thing. It's pretty common. Lasts forever. Looks beautiful, easy to polish, and it's great when you have spills and tumbles and things like that. And we're hoping to, inside the new museum, have events, not only in our activity rooms, but also right in the heart of the museum. We'll move aside the exhibits, and we'll have a presentation sort of like they do at Pensacola. That's really exciting to us. And of course, we've had just a couple of visitors. I wanted to recognize some of the visitors that we've had. It's Corey and Jim, and of course, our friend Lynn Stites. But I've been giving lots of tours, and I am available to give more tours. Those of you, please, who have not seen the museum, please reach out to me. I'm happy to give you an inside look at what's happening. And we'll discover it together, because if I turn my back for a minute, things change. So we are really excited about it. And this is them in the exhibition area, which will soon be very crowded with exhibits and walls and posters and curtains and stuff. So that's really exciting. That's the wrong button. Now let's talk about the library. I'm going to ask my friend Steppy to come up.
See, they're green.
They are green.
So,
Sorry.
may I?
Absolutely.
So basically what we had last August, we had like 24 brown, wooden, flimsy bookcases. We had gotten them from from Habitat and then donations. They were terrible. We really wanted something different. So we had been working for almost a year to try to find donation of library-style bookcases. I worked through with a lot of the libraries in the area, Seattle, Everett, Tacoma. We didn't get a lot of response. We finally linked up with Snow Isle here on the island, because I knew that the Langley Library was going to be replaced. And was going to be renewed. So we were hoping to get it. We wanted 30 feet of bookcases. That's 3 10-foot lengths for the library alone. Snow Isle kind of gave us, they didn't know if they were going to be able to do it, when it might happen. But then the guy that I was working with, who happens to be a retired EP3 crew member, and he works for Snow Isle, nice guy, he turned us on to Mount Vernon. And Mount Vernon, just recently, they got a $25 million grant to build a brand new library and community center. And we contacted Mount Vernon, went over and visited. 2 of us went over to Mount Vernon. We walked in on I think it was September the 20th, just last September the 23rd. We walked in and we met the librarian and the gentleman who is the public works guy for Mount Vernon. We said, do you want us to go through and mark the stuff we want? Can we put tape on anything? And the guy says, no, take it off. So we were looking and we didn't know what, we were just, they blessed us with all this stuff. We ended up going over there. We had like 6 guys working on their hands and feet the first day, literal hands and knees, literally unbolting all these shelves. These were all installed onto the floors. We were taking them apart and laying them out, and then we had a crew of between 12 and 15 volunteers that showed up weekend after that, and then another weekend to load all the stuff into trucks that we rented, and Barry drove the truck. We rented a truck, brought it all over from back to Whidbey Island, and offloaded it into the new museum. What was interesting is, I told you, we wanted 30 feet. We got 525 feet. Big deal. Roughly speaking, we're looking at, that's probably $200,000 to $300,000 worth of brand new bookcases. I guess we probably inherited $70,000, $80,000 of used stuff. So, and that was all free. Bless Mount Vernon for doing that for us. So we wanted 30. We got 525 feet of shelving. The library right now has 54 feet of it. The collections area, our warehouse, has about 100 feet of shelving. That's collections. The gift shop and the admin area have about 800 set aside for installation down the line. So that leaves us about 250 feet of shelving that we didn't need and we couldn't use. So we happened to luck out that Whidbey Health EMTs were visiting the warehouse or visiting the new museum, and we were talking to them. They wanted. So this weekend, on Saturday morning, we got another crew. Thank you, Kelly, for putting together the crews. We've got probably 5, 6, 8 guys that are going to show, people that are going to show up to help us move it, put it into a truck so that Whidbey Health can get it out of our way. So, good deal. So, over that time, we've had 20, 25 different volunteers to show up. We even had a couple of board members show up and crawl around the floor to help us do it. I want to thank Barry and Kelly for your support. My collections team, they're all back there. Greg, Barry, Greg, Bruce, Erica, and Jane, my assistant. So it's been a great thing. When we open up and all the books are in and all the periodicals are in and the archives have been loaded up, when we do open up the museum, we invite you to come by and take a look at our research library. So, thank you. Good.
Thank you, Kevin. You know, if I may just ride on your coattails for a little bit, I would like to add another little point to that's quite interesting for some. So we know that we almost lost a community member, Jim Siggins, last year, and he was saved by a defibrillator. And so Jim and his wife Corey reached out to me and said, you know, museum needs to have a defibrillator. Can you make it happen? So with Kelly's help, we reached out to Whidbey Health, and they said we would love to support this organization. We're going to get you one. Normally these are $2,000. We're going to get you one rebuilt for about $800. So it's certified, it's medically intact. It's that after a certain period of time, the batteries inside these, or the mechanisms, they just wear out. And so larger organizations routinely replace them. They just pull them off the shelves with an expiry date, send them back to the manufacturer, and get new ones. And so what we did is we were able to acquire one of those defibrillators and install it in the museum. And so I reached out to the director, with Kelly's help, of course, and he came down for a visit. We were hoping to get a second defibrillator, which is in the works right now. And as it's a very large facility, our whole building is about 20,000 square feet. So with his professional experience, I needed to know where to put these, how to make them accessible, how they should be, installed. And he came down to walk through the museum. He was very excited. He said, "Wow, this is an amazing place." I'm really looking forward to, oh, by the way, what's with these shelves? So it really worked out that he said, oh, we will take them all. We also know that our friends in Whitney Fire have an entirely new room that have all of their supplies on the floor because they don't have shelves yet. I said, are you joking? So it's a win-win situation for all of us, and I think it's a lovely story and something I'll be happy to share in the future. So thank you, Corey and Jim, for inspiring that. So the next few minutes is going to be a little bit drier. We need to talk a little bit about our numbers. So we're going to look first at the balance sheet. So we're talking about all of our current assets, and our current assets includes all of our loans and all of our credit we have, and it includes all our museum and our property and all of those artifacts. And so, not that it's inflated, but let's just say if we lost all those things, no one's going to write us a check for $6 million. It happens. They're just gone. So, but it's been valued at that amount, and so this is why our total assets are in the neighborhood for our balance book of $6 million. And so there are liabilities. Those are payroll. So basically myself and Kelly and Erica are the only employees. Erica is part-time, Kelly and I are the only full-time employees. And then it's our long-term liability, which is all of our loans, which need to go up regularly. So just to some, it may appear, hey, you guys have a whole new building, you must have a big wad of cash. We have a big wad of debts. So we are working, we've had the community support us, we've had financial organizations support us and say, hey, we want to make this happen, how can we get you across the line? So there's been loans, there's been financial assistance, but some of this has come due and it's time to pay the piper, especially when the museum is finished and built. So it looks like we made a whole bunch of money last year, but really there were about a handful of donors who put us in that $700,000 range. We had a naming rights for the auditorium. Some of you recognize it as the theater, but it's our auditorium, which was purchased for $255,000. So thank you to that gentleman. It makes a huge difference to us. That goes back into our kitty and helps us continue to build a museum. We also had another donation for $205,000. That was just a push over the top that allowed us to keep afloat because we were sweating. And naming rights continued. So far this year, those of you who have seen the naming rights on your tables, I'd like to take a moment and just talk a little bit about that so you understand what this is all about. So we have, the museum was put together, we looked at opportunities to allow the community to personally feel like they are a part of this project. That was done through naming rights. So of course that is a way for us to acquire finances and support our project, but at the same time it allows organizations who want to be attached to our project to get their names on it. So we have sold recently our coffee rest area to our friends at Jersey Mike's, so we're really excited about that. And I'm pleased to announce that just about 48 hours ago, we have just sold 2 of our activity rooms to our friends Island Thrift Community. So thank you so much to them. In the future, I know you'll be calling to ask to book the Island Thrift Room, and Kelly will take your calls and we'll get you in there for your events and things like that. So the auditorium, as we mentioned, that is no longer available. And the mail room, of course, was named for our friend Dolores. Hi, Dolores. Dolores and my mail room. And
Benches.
Oh, and benches. So throughout the museum, we have requisitioned 5 memorial benches. These are beautiful wood, mahogany wood, African mahogany, that have been custom made by a craftsman in Bellevue, and they're just about ready. And there have been 5 generous donors, sponsors, we want to call them, who have reached out, and so their benches will be on display in the museum. and for everybody to come recognize. So thank you to those who purchased benches. That
Stop
comes.
pushing the button.
Okay, sorry. So that's another total of $25,000 that was helped raise. And so all of that goes to our costs.
Yes.
Thank you so much. This is normally where I would hand the phone, so to speak, over to Will. Everybody knows Will Schallenberger. Unfortunately, he was unable to make it here today. He, of course, is the driver behind our, what we call Impact 25. So it's the campaign that we started to recognize 25 years of existence and to say, here we come, 25 more years. And it's a financial campaign that looks to, boost us and to recognize the community, at the same time, recognize that we are still very much in need. As it stands right now today, we are just under the wire. We're $250,000 short of opening the doors. So there are things that we are doing every day. So it's not that we have carpenters and contractors sitting, playing on their phones. We're moving forward, but we are still this close. And so with your help, all of us together, we can pitch in, we can hopefully make this happen. This would be a really great thing. We are looking to open the doors. We're planning on a 2025 opening, most likely end of summer by the time everything gets installed. And you will shortly see mailing campaigns and other things. Please pass along a message to your friends and family if you think that they can contribute. Every little contribution makes a difference. And you guys have got us here so far. This is your museum, as John Hughes always wants to point out. This is your museum, so you've got us here so far. So if we could just get over that little hump, we'd appreciate it. Now it's time to talk about the move. So we have actually begun to move. As Steffi pointed out, we are installed in the library. We are, the carpeting is all there, the shelves are all there, the books are all there, the archives are all there. We are going to begin to move the collections. This is an example of, on my left is the library how it was before, and you saw the picture of the library how it is now. And on the right is just a snippet of what collections has to go through. We're continuing to receive goods every day. I know Greg just received something this morning that will be added to our collection. So there's always things coming in. I mean, that's the responsibility of a museum, is you must be collecting, actively collecting, otherwise you're not a museum. So we're very excited about that. We have incredible collections that we're looking forward to put on display. All this has to get moved. And so that's going to be a painstaking process that's beginning as soon as the collections area they've finished their construction. So we don't want to bring artifacts like valuable, fragile items, say from World War II, into a construction zone. So as soon as the construction zone is completed, which should be hopefully in the next 2 weeks or so, we know they're going to be working on flooring. After that, we should begin to be able to move in our collections area. So we're working also with the city to get permits and the county, and everybody's working together right now. So our plan is at least to have a temporary occupancy in the next, say, 30 days or so we can begin to move in and do the work we have to do. It's a huge facility. If you know that our little space where we are now, what it took to bring it together, you can imagine the kind of work we have ahead of us. So. And then the question on everybody's minds, how and when are we going to move this airplane of ours? If anybody has a golden idea, the really one solid idea, by all means, let me know. We are working on a lot of different proposals, everything from a helo to bringing it down the street and starting up the engines and flying it there. So we know that there's lots of work ahead of us. Unfortunately, recently, she has sustained a little bit of damage in that windstorm that took place, I want to say, was that January? That big windstorm? Bruce Roberts, was that in January? When did we have that big windstorm? In December. So yeah, and it was in December we had that big windstorm, and so she took a little bit of damage to her vertical stabilizer, is that correct? Yeah, and the rudder. So we need to fix those things to make sure she's in a condition to move, especially if we have the opportunity to lift her by a helo, which is a possibility. Lots of red tape and paperwork involved in doing that. But that has been proposed, and I think it's actually a potentially reasonable idea. Of course, cost. It's always about cost. We know that our friends at the city would be excited about having us bring it down the street. We talked with our friend Chief Slowick, said, "Don't worry, we've got it all covered. We'll shut the roads down. It'll be a piece of cake." We said, "What about the county?" What about the county? I'll have to take care of it. So hopefully, fingers crossed that there'll be some organizations that will come together and make this happen. And the date, well, that's a good question. So moving the plane is really important to us for a number of reasons. Obviously, because of our new location. But where we are now, we are exposed to the birds. And the birds are having a huge impact on the acidity of their droppings on the wings, and it's very corrosive. And so we need to get away from this location. It's going to have a natural impact, positive growth on our airplane. And then, of course, we'd like to get into restoring it and preserving it as best we can, painting it, restoring the interior. Just getting it away from where it is now is going to make a huge difference. So I know many of you said, so when are we going to get it covered? What's about the building number 2? Those are all viable plans, and we're definitely considering them. But as we know from the previous sheets about finances, we're not in a position right now to say, it's going to be tomorrow, we're going to build a new building, we're going to have the PBY under the cover. It's just not going to happen right now. So we have to focus on getting the museum open, taking the airplane to the new site, and getting it fenced in properly so people can access it and visit it and support us. And then we will look to design and create a building number 2, hopefully in the very near future. But please share with me any of your ideas and your thoughts. It's going to take more than a mountain to move this. So. And I have time very quickly for a few questions. If anybody has questions. Okay, I probably don't have time. Okay, moving right along then. I just want to run through quickly some of the cool things that I got to do this year. Normally, like the director, I got to stay behind the desk and take phone calls and write emails, but I forced myself to get out into the community. And one of the things we did, first things we did was a new air show at Olympia. And if anybody hasn't been to that one, it's happening again this year. We're partnering with our friends at Soaring by the Sea, the PBY, and it was a great experience. I know Nathan can talk more about how we got to ride on the PBY. It was a beautiful day. The weather turned for us the second day, I think it was. But as you see, even the young folks really enjoyed the picture group by permission, by the way. So we had quite a few crowds out there on the tarmac in Olympia, and they're really excited because we have now joined with them in our memberships. So go and see Olympia Museum and see us there again this year in 2025. Another thing we did, thanks to Dave and Williams and Bruce Roberts, is we got involved with the city, helping them clean some airplanes, had some great burgers. Thanks, Bruce. You're awesome. And everybody wolfed them down. We actually had chances to work on, so if anybody knows or doesn't know, I should say, where these aircraft are. If you drive along 20 at Altfield Road going towards our museum, right there on the corner, there are those two, the A6B and the A6 Intruder. So that's right there on the corner. So we worked on cleaning those, and then later on we went to the other gates. Remind me the name of the gates. Langley Gates. We worked on the other aircraft there. So that was another experience for museum folks supporting the Navy and the community to take care of the aircraft, which is our mission, is to support naval aviation and protect it. And some other things we did throughout the year. This is us at Anacortes, and of course the standard crew. We went to on base property for their Auburn festival, right on Halloween. Boy, was it cold that day, right, Nathan? It was a cold one. Okay, so an ongoing project that we are working on, I'm very excited to present, with our own friend Peter Hunt. So he has, anybody doesn't know Peter Hunt? Peter, would you stand for a second, sir?
It's good.
He's over there. Commander, Lieutenant Commander, correct? Lieutenant. So he brought to us, and my friend Rick here, he brought to us the inspiration to really take advantage of the stories, what we call in the museum world the intangible heritage, the history and those non-specific incidents that everybody really wants to hear about. Yes, you can Google about intruders, but to hear the story of that pilot and to hear what happened, how it relates to us, our story here at Obi Island, that was really exciting. Our first interview was with Larry, so thank you, Larry, for being a part of that. And we continued on through the summer and spring, and this is one of our chats took place. Normally it would be on Sundays, just before we open. My friend Rick Colgan here would sort of organize everybody and do the audio and video and put this all on videotape and digital videotape. And then we would just chat, and Peter kind of had an idea of where we were going, what we were doing ahead of time, and the stories flew, and then afternoons flew by, and then you always wanted to know more, and then it was over. So what we've decided we're going to do, we're going to edit down these stories as much as possible. They will appear on our website. They will be available also in our theater when we get the auditorium up and running. They'll be available presentation on Circle. And I'm hoping to have more opportunities to present it to you here when they come up. Now, I'm super happy to present to you our first screening, which is called In Their Words.
Pitch black. No moon. Ingress at 450 knots, 300 feet, flying below the red ropes of tracer fire. Had to climb to 400 feet for bomb release. 12 Rockeye cluster bombs, over 3 tons of high explosives dropped on the Kusar naval base. SA-2s in the air, shoulder-fired SAMs, a shitload of AAA. Off target, a 5G low-altitude brake turn on instruments. Gotta stay level, life or death. Can't replicate that in training. Scariest thing I've done in my life.
Isn't that excellent? Yes. Thanks to Peter Hunt and my friend Rick Colgan for making So yeah, we'd like to thank Peter Hunt and everybody who participated in those presentations. Like I said, they will be available on our website shortly. And that's just a little teaser clip of what's to come. And hopefully we'll have 10 to 15 minute snippets available also on YouTube as well. So stand by for that. Now comes the time I need to ask Kelly to come up and present.
Hey everybody, let's give our boss man a round of applause. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm the general. My name is Kelly and I've been on staff for about a year. I'm also the editor of our super cool cat chat. So a lot of this information that I'm about to go over, you're going to find in your cat chat. Everybody should have a copy at your spot, especially the schedule upcoming. I basically, well, Keandra, thank you, Keandra, copied the schedule off the back of the cat chat so that you guys would know. We hopefully will be having a quarterly luncheon again in April on the 22nd. I haven't heard from Main Street, but I'm assuming we're having a St. Patrick's Day parade. And in May, Memorial Day, also in your cat chat, I think you would have found our flyer. Looks like that. This will be our 7th annual event. This year we have Captain Gamache confirmed and Commodore Ganchi, and I've asked the governor to come too. So fingers crossed, I'm supposed to get his RSVP next month. I know Barry's been asking for a lot of money, so sorry, but I'm gonna ask for money too. If your organization wants to be listed in our programs that day as a sponsor, we need at least a $250 check, okay? Next. Operation Moves the Shells. Steffi, wherever you are, Steffi, yep. Steffi's already mentioned that this coming Saturday we have our next work party. A lot of you have asked me about this sign-up genius that I send out, and it's kind of funny. We're moving into the 21st century. So, you'll be getting an email from me on a regular when we have a work party scheduled, and this is how you will know about it. You'll get a sign-up genius just like you did for this luncheon, and it will say, click here to view the sign-up. And so you don't have to call me and say, Kelly, the email didn't say what day. Yeah, I know, okay? So if you click view sign-up, it will take you into the sign-up. It'll look just like that, and sometimes there will be multiple days, and sometimes there will be multiple spots on one day. So that's why it's too much for one email. You have to click the view sign up. So if you click the button that says view the sign up, then you can say, oh, no, Saturday's no good for me, but I can do Sunday. And then you'll say, oh, she wants 10 people, 4 people have already signed up. I need to tell my friends to come. And then that's how we get our work parties filled up so that we have oodles of us. I see a lot of blue shirts in here, which is fantastic. But anyway, like Steffi said, we've done this a couple of times now. It's been a huge success, and even today I had 63 of you confirmed, and I don't know if we've taken a head count yet, but it looks like more than 63 people are here. So great. Obviously, I'll be around for any questions. If you ask me what day is the work party, I'm going to say, please check your email, okay? Also, this past weekend, I'm so super proud. I just can't even. Erica and Brig and Keandra and Miss Ava and myself have spent a lot of time creating 3 new scavenger hunts. So right now our museum has 4 scavenger hunts that people can do. And this last weekend, 2 days ago, the base was on a 96-hour leave and the schools were out. So our museum was crowded Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I can't tell you how proud I was to walk out of the office and see people walking around with clipboards learning. It is so exciting. Even the one with the pictures for children age 10 and under, it's just great. They're like, oh, what is this? It's a tail hook. And one of the questions is, which one is the heaviest? So now everybody's over here lifting all the tail hooks. It's just really fun, and I encourage you, if you haven't come to the museum, come hang out with us sometime. Just give us an hour or 2, do a scavenger hunt yourself, or just like sit around and see how much fun people are having doing it. It's very exciting, and there is incentive. We're offering 5% off, 10% off, and 15% off, depending on which scavenger hunt you do, because they are quite difficult once you get to that 15%. The 15% one is also questions, so handwritten them, and I encourage people to take that back to their teachers. Hey, show your teacher that you filled this out. Maybe they'll give you extra credit. Yep. Okay. Now this is the fun part. So I have the esteemed honor of thanking our volunteers who have helped pull off this amazing year. I've got a couple of stats. They're also in the cat chat on my page, which is page number 11 from the General's desk. You will see, it looks like a recipe card, doesn't it? That might have been intentional. Yeah, so the General, this is the General's recipe for success, everybody, and all we have to do is duplicate it for 2025, because we have done a bang-up job this year, and I am so proud I could pop. For us to have logged over 11,000 hours is remarkable. Hands together for that. I mean, it's been a really busy year. So, to that end, we have 18 volunteers who have logged over 100 hours. Their names are here. I'm about to call their names. When I do, I would like you to come rally up here at the flag so that you can get with Mr. Berry to receive your special thank you envelope. Uh-oh, I killed it. Help me, somebody help me. There we go. Thank you, Rick. All right, so And I would like to point out that, my voice might crack here, but I'm really proud to say that not everybody on this list is an old-timer who's been helping the museum for 20 years. Two of the names on this list are actual students who have logged over 100 hours on weekends. Two of the names on this list are active duty, who serve our country full-time and then come hang out at the museum for fun and to help us pull the nibbits and go to air shows and do what we do, moving shelves for the library. And on this list are 3 board members too. So round of applause while I call you up. Sherry Blessing, John Boyd, Olivia Cobb, Dean Cox, Miss Ava Colrigo, Jackie Hughes, Bonnie LaForest, Mary Jo Morris, Erica Ray, who works part-time, we will say, on Wednesdays and Fridays. She is not included in this list, but these hours that Erica Ray logged were in addition to her part-time hours. Joe Reyes, Brittany Rifle, Ruth Schoonover, Buffalo Barbecue Bob Smith, Ann Smock, John Solon, Josh Wardle, Rick, Tom Duke Wayne, and Miss Pat Wolf. Round of applause, everybody. We wanted one group picture. Group picture with thumbs up. We don't have time for singles. Move it along, people. We've got stuff to do. You can hand them out while she's changing her list. There's too many. While we're figuring this out, because what would it be without technical difficulties? I do encourage you to look in your cat chat on page 10. We actually are introducing you to a lot of these folks. We love having call signs. And so a lot of times you guys will be like, well, I don't know who you're talking about, Kelly. Who's Brick? Okay, well, his picture's in here with his call sign. So you can get to know us so that when you come hang out at the museum, yeah, there he is waiting. So you can come into the museum and be like, oh, you're Brick. Oh, you're Babs. So, and while we're still handing these out, this is great. Shout out, first of all, thanks to the Elks Lodge. Mr. Mike, if you'll share that I'm thanking the Elks for today. The food was good. They're providing us the venue. Thank you. Ladies in the back for sharing on our tables. Excellent job. Another thank you in these envelopes is a guest pass to Oak Harbor Cinemas. So thanks to John Solon. Hi, John. I know you're watching. John Solon gave everybody 2 movie passes. Jersey Mike's gave us free free subs with a drink and chips. And then everybody is getting an honorary membership for a year, which includes 6 guest passes. Okay, so are we done? Can we? Yes. Okay, excellent. Moving on to the next round of volunteers, we'd like to recognize Richard and Oni, if you would please stand up. So Richard and Oni, Richard Rezebek and Oni Heaton are 2 of our long-serving, I don't even know how many years you guys have been doing this, but thank you. And this year they logged over 250 hours. There we go. Oh, Erica, we had you in the wrong bunch. I'm sorry. Erica, you belong in this bunch. So, if everybody whose name I call can meet back there with Richard and Oni, we'll do Bruce Roberts, Nathan Briggs Sanchez, Nick Rodriguez Sanchez, Steppy Williford. All right. Erica, you get to have your picture made twice. Wait, no, we wanted a group picture with Richard. Everybody with Richard and Oni. Group picture. Group picture. Thumbs up. Trademark. Thumbs up. Thumbs up, everybody. Trademark. There we go. Excellent. Yes. Round of active duties. So once again, we've got people working full-time on base who come and hang out with us at the museum, which I am so super proud of. I can't even. Okay, the next batch is going to come up here to the flag. We have the people that logged over 500 hours. John Hughes, John Love, Arthur Morris, and Greg Neal. Round of applause, everybody. 500 hours. Can you believe it? I will say that in this group, we have 2 board members. So, for funsies' sake, that's 7 board members logging over 100 hours. Phenomenal. 4 active duties logging over 100 hours, and 2 high school students logging over 100 hours. It's quite remarkable. We have tripled our volunteer base this year. Tripled. Phenomenal. Okay. And now the fun part. I'm going to hand it back over to Barry. Miss Judy.
So we have a very special award.
Oh, wait. Arthur's pen. Arthur, you sat down too quick.
Arthur, you need to come back up to the front, please.
Now you've done it.
It's the initiation.
Now you've done it, Arthur.
You can announce it. Send your pen.
We would like to recognize the amazing service from our friend and volunteer, Arthur Morris, for 10 years of devoted service. Big round of applause for him. Thank you, Arthur. We really appreciate you being there for us. Yes, please.
Actually, it's been my pleasure to be a docent. And I'm really excited about this new museum when we get into it. I've told a lot of people because of the size of at my age, I might have to get roller skates because of the territory that it covers. But I've had the pleasure, since I've been a docent, to meet probably at least one person from every state in the United States of America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, Israel, South Africa, and I'm probably missing 4 or 5 other Iceland. But it's been a joy to meet these people and introduce them to the history of the Pacific Northwest Native America.
They really enjoyed the experience with you, so thank you, Arthur, for doing what you do. And now, as I mentioned earlier, I would like to have the pleasure of announcing an award, the Sonny Starks Award. So, unfortunately, I never had the opportunity to meet Sonny. He was part of the museum family before I came on board in 2023. But Sonny Starks was a devoted volunteer and made a lot of the procedures that we operate today, put those in place. We know that we keep hearing, this is how Sonny did things, and so we follow in his footsteps. So he was known as a devoted and passionate volunteer that made a difference to the community. And so we would like to recognize someone else who has been following his footsteps for many years, and that would be Will Schellenberger. So Will, unfortunately, is unable to make it here today, so we'll be asking Judy to present the award. But having just stepped into his, accept the award, thank you. Having just stepped into his very large shoes, like literally, and Will is like 7 feet tall, he has given me quite a challenge, quite a high bar, set the bar very high for me as executive director, and always calling him and asking him his advice. He's always there for me and has helped move the museum and our accounts and our reputation forward. Everybody knows him on island, off island, and through his Navy service. So we love Will, and I will be presenting the award to him, unbeknownst to him, at the board meeting this weekend. But let's have a big round of applause for Will. And that is a wrap. Anybody have any quick questions? You can take them. Go ahead, Martha. They are real cakes. Please go ahead, dive in, dig in. Thank you all so much for coming. We really appreciate your support. It wouldn't be much of a museum if you guys didn't come out. So thank you for taking the time and have a good afternoon.